Hello everyone, welcome back to another Elegon Devlog. Today I've got plenty to share with you. I've been working very hard on the networking, as I mentioned previously, but the work for all of that is now done, so entities are now fully server-side, the collisions and pathing is all done server-side, and basically their brain lives on the server now, which makes a lot more sense because we don't want enemies to be thinking on the client for obvious reasons. So yeah, I'm just going to sort of wander around the first zone here, and I'd just like to really talk about what I've been up to and what's coming next. So I guess the first thing that you might notice is we've got a new enemy type. So these are just some wolves that I've put in, and they are actually passive, so they're a little bit different to the wolves that we have. These ones will not attack when you get near, but that's not to say that we can't attack them. So I mean, it's probably not the best thing to do, but yeah, that's how passive enemies work. So if I stand here as well, we should see that they also have respawn logic. So we should be able to, okay, so there we go. So we got one, and then this guy should also come back to life. Okay, there we go. So they sort of jump back to life. I think what would be better for the future would be to have some sort of, like, have the body sort of fade out. Just so that they don't jump from one position to the other. I think that would be a nice improvement. But yeah, so we've got passive enemies in the game now. You'll notice that the enemies are moving less smoothly than previously, and that's simply because they are running on the server side now. So this is all expected, this is fine, but obviously an improvement that will be made in the future is on the client side. I'm going to be interpolating this movement to make it a lot smoother, so from the client's perspective there won't be any sort of jitteriness. The enemies will appear to be moving just perfectly smoothly. It's more of a case of this is what the server is aware of, so it's good in the sense that I can see it's working well, but yeah, the next step would just be to add that little bit of refinement on the client to interpolate every time the position changes. But yeah, I think that's that for the passive enemies, so that's great. And and all the enemies are server side now. I've got a few more enemies around here. This bit's a little bit less developed, this part of the map. I haven't really put too much here, but you can see we've got the wolves. Got a little in combat thing here, just because it's quite helpful to tell, because if you're in combat you're not going to be auto regenning health for obvious reasons, but as soon as you exit combat you'll start to regen your health again. There's a little bit of a bug there that I'm aware of where your weapon effects will move from the previous location to the current location as well. So that's something that's also on the list of things to do. There's been so many bugs that I've gone over and fixed in the past couple of days. I'm actually not going to go down the full list because it's just quite a lot, but there's just so many rough edges and things that I've been ironing out, so hopefully that will be sort of noticeable when you play or when you see these videos. But for the time being I'll just talk about the main features and improvements that I've made. So if we come back around here, I've done a little bit of improvement to the actual first zone itself. I've tried to make it look a little bit more interesting. So we got some more enemies around here. I'm trying to just play around with like different textures, different foliage. All the way back here it's a little bit hard to tell. We've got these wolves as well. So yeah, I think it's really starting to come together. Now, I did get a comment in the past, and actually let me tab out because I would like to give them credit. It's from Zarkan16, and he actually mentioned, he said, it looks good, but, you know, will I add shadows? And when I saw that comment, I thought, like, yeah, but there are shadows. Like, what? But when I looked at it, I was like, no, you're right, actually. It's extremely bright. There's not a lot of contrast. So hopefully what you'll notice as well is I've been tweaking the lighting a little bit. So obviously, you know, it's never going to be finalized. I'm always going to be tweaking it more and more, but you can see there's more contrast here between dark areas and light areas. But obviously there's a lot of areas here that are shrouded in darkness because we basically have this canopy of trees. So, you know, we can see some light coming through, but this is definitely something that I'm playing around with. And it kind of also goes into the greater sort of theme of the game, in that I don't want the game to be too bright and soft. You know, I want it to feel comfortable and cozy and, like, you know, familiar, but I don't want it to be too bright and soft. I really want to go for that sort of immersive, I don't really know how to say it, but not realistic, stylized look, where you do still feel like your character is in a world that has depth and substance, rather than just some very pretty, bright world. I want there to feel like there's a bit of dimension to it. So I think we're moving in the right direction with that, which is great. Now, I think there's not too much more to mention. I have been doing a little bit more work getting the game ready for playtesting. So the plan is to start doing some playtesting at the start of next month. So in the start of December is the aim. There's a few things that are out of my control that I'm going to have to wait on before I can start playtesting. And the main thing for that is really just the distribution side of things with Steam. So I am in the process of getting that all set up, and that's all going through now. It's off for review and everything. But obviously setting up playtests and things like that, I have to work with Steam on that, and that takes a little bit of time. So yeah, if we just sit tight for that, hopefully it will be good. Actually, I've never really came to this area before, and this looks really nice. I love the way the sun kind of like comes in. I think what I should do actually is I should add more areas where there's like partings in the trees, because this is a really nice effect actually. Yeah, so I think that's really everything that I wanted to go over in this video. As I say, it is a major milestone really, because getting this networking right is super important for this game, right? The networking has to be done in a way that's going to be cost effective. It needs to be scalable and efficient, and it needs to, you know, prevent cheating and other things like that. So, and it also just needs to make the world feel nicely synchronized between all the players. That's what I want. I want everyone to feel like they're all in the same world. So yeah, I think adding a little bit of extra love to the client side next, to smooth out those movements and make everything feel nice, is going to be great. But if you do have any comments or suggestions about any of the things that I'm working on or things you'd like to see, please do add them below. I'm always reading all the comments, everything on Discord, messages on Patreon. I really appreciate everyone that's reached out. It's honestly, it's like so overwhelming, because I'm seeing so many people like-minded like me that are saying that they've been looking for a project like this, a game like this. And you know, there's a million reasons why games like this are difficult to bring to market, but it doesn't mean that there's not a lot of demand for it, a lot of people that are looking for this. So it's been really nice, honestly, seeing all the positive feedback and all the excitement around this. But if you haven't already, I would definitely suggest join the Discord. There's usually a few more updates in the Discord in between videos, and there's just a lot of like-minded people in there as well, so it's great. And I would also like to say, well, actually, that's a good point. Next thing that I am working on is the camera clipping. So for the camera, I'm using a pivot point and a navigation and a spring arm 3D. But yeah, camera clipping is next. It's fairly straightforward, but there's a few sort of quirks to it that I just want to get right before I finalize that. So, but yeah, got distracted there. I think before I sign off, I just want to say thank you. Massive thank you to 2 new Patreons. So we've got Philip on the legendary tier. So thank you so much, Philip. I really appreciate that. And then we got David on the rare tier. Also, thank you so much for showing your support. I really appreciate it. Again, it's really it's really nice to see all the support behind this project and what I'm trying to build here. It's a tough thing to build. It's a lot of work, but I think the combination of development alongside you guys is really the way to go. And also I think in terms of like getting feedback in real time is really like invaluable. I wouldn't have changed those shadows if I wouldn't have seen that comment, right? And I'm getting other comments, like even on the previous video, about the monetization. So if you haven't watched that previous video, and you're interested in how I'm going to monetize this game, do make sure you go back and watch that. But I got a lot of comments of people asking about, things that I didn't mention, like, oh, how will like trial zones work, or will there be, some sort of free tier or anything like that? And it's really great that people are asking these questions. And just quickly, the answer to that is that there will be a free experience up to a certain level, up to a certain point, because obviously people want to try before they, invest in a subscription. So yes, there will be, but I really appreciate all the comments, and yeah, I think it's all helping to make the game as good as it can be. So yeah, I'm rambling on a little bit now, but thank you so much to everyone for following along with this. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.